off camera? Oh, there you are.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to give folks just a minute to jump in now that we've started the webinar. All right, let's go ahead and we're going to get started. So first, I want to thank you for taking the time to join us today. We're excited to show you some new things coming up with the product and some other exciting services that we're looking at offering. We'll jump into introductions. Joining me today is Dave, so and leads our product team, and Bill from our professional services team, works directly with departments every day. A couple of quick housekeeping logistics items. We're going to try to keep this session to under an hour. Throughout the session, if you do have any questions, please feel free to drop them into the Q&A panel. If we can answer it there directly, we will. If not, we will bring it up to whoever is leading the presentation and answer it there. Also, if you have any questions that are very specific to your account or maybe your existing integrations, I will drop into the chat our support information. That's going to be the best channel for those very specific to you questions. With that, I think I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Dave.
All right. Hello, everybody. Thanks for this morning. We're going to talk about a revamp admin panel that is going to roll out this fall that I'll show you. A new AI tool that we have in beta for SOPs and documentation and internal communications. That's its own platform right now that will be rolled into the overall admin panel as we revamp it. We'll talk about some new integrations. And as Stephanie mentioned, Bill will talk about some professional services and tips and tricks and so forth. And then Stephanie will talk about our new referral program. So with that, I'm just gonna jump right in. We spent the last 6 months or so mapping out a completely reimagined admin panel portal. Basically the place you go to check the status of your boards, add users. We're going to talk about user accounts a little bit. User accounts are an add-on where you can push content down to groups or individuals directly, as well as push content to your dashboards besides just messages and videos. So I'm gonna walk through that. That's launching in September, and then we have a handful of additional, kind of forward-looking 2027 and beyond type features that are coming out on the heels of that. So the main thing with the revamped platform is to give you much easier tools to manage your account, and over time give you much easier tools to create content both for your dashboards, user accounts, which push to mobile as well, our mobile app. So all of your, basically anything you get us, whether it's from a third-party integration or it's content you're managing yourself or it's content we're even providing you, regardless of where the person is on the big 55-inch TV in the firehouse, on their desktop, laptop, or their phone, they'll have a much deeper access to all of that content over time than they currently do, and you'll have tools that'll make your life a lot easier as an agency admin to create that content. We'll start shifting away from Google Sheets for custom content and have some form builders and easier management to kind of create custom content on your own. The ability to ingest your own Excel sheets and things like that into the platform for one-off reporting, besides the automation. So a bunch of things to talk about. This is just an example of the revamped admin, the main screen you see when you log in as an agency admin. So you don't have to go clicking around to multiple things in the navigation. You're going to get everything you need to know how to manage your boards all in one place. So in this example, we're going to tell you who your client success manager is, which is who manages our relationship with you and when to contact them. technical support, when to contact support with an option to submit a ticket directly from this platform. You're going to see the uptime of your devices. And Bill will talk about some automation and also additional services to give you monthly and regular reports directly so you can get intel without even having to log into the platform. You'll be able to see all your devices. You'll be able to launch, which is something you can do now in the existing admin panel, but you'll be able to launch your dashboard right here from this button, and be able to see all of your dashboards in your ecosystem very quickly without having to be present. Um, 3.0 customers especially, and Bill will talk a little bit about your conversion process, but you'll see the status of your integrations that we've tied to you and whether they're up, down, pending, so you can kind of quickly troubleshoot before opening a support ticket if an integration is down. We will also have on our end a much easier way by integration of notifying you if XYZ integration is down and that's a result of our thing, or that's a result of the integration partner. Will be able to message you directly as the agency admin saying, hey, this integration is down. Here's why. Here's the resolution time, to basically get ahead of you having to worry about submitting a support ticket when you see something blank on your dashboards. Um, there's an option to require two-factor authentication for all of your users. We may push that out globally as security things change. But basically gives you as the administrator the option to add two-factor authentication for some additional security. Um, we will also have some single sign-on functionality as part of this rollout, so you'll be able to sign in with basically any standard sign-in system, Microsoft, Google Workspace, whatever you've got, you'll be able to authenticate and even restrict access to your account based on your email domain, so no one can sign up. Um, You'll be able to manage your admin users, your content managers. We're going to make the permissions matrix a lot simpler. People can be agency admins that have global access. People can be content managers, and then within the subset of content managers, what stations or devices they have access to manage content for. Agency users, super easy to add users and give them certain permissions, in a very clean manner. You can see that pop up, right, guys? Um, or a bulk add tool where we'll basically give you a spreadsheet template and you'll be able to bulk upload yourself without having to go through support. And
Dave,
then
we're
add all
we're still
uh,
looking at the slide.
the slide. Well, that's not good. Uh, so again, I was showing this, the contact information, your agency settings where you can see devices, uh, and your launch button. So that kind of gets us up to where we are with two-factor authentication very quickly. Um, so adding users, super easy. You can, easily quick pick their permissions. You can customize their permissions on a per person basis. You can bulk add users. You will also be able to invite users via a code or via a link you send them. So making onboarding drastically easier to get your folks on board. You'll be able to view your user activity if you have user accounts enabled, how much content you have, for our acknowledgments, which is basically a tool in user accounts to require people to acknowledge news or events or new documents. You'll see the stats there and be able to drill down into a report to see who's pending and overdue. Some usage stats for those people who your most active users are, and then direct access, so you don't have to remember where your Google Sheets and Google Slides are. Those will all be linked right from this main admin panel. Um, Groups, which I'll talk about in a couple minutes. We have a new groups feature that will let you target content to individual groups of people, all the way down to individuals themselves. So if you want to just send a message or target content directly to your chiefs or your captains, we give you a tool to very easily manage that in our groups page here. So in this example, here's your captains. You can easily search and add a member with a little quick pop in, add them to your group, and then they'll only see the content that you want them to see. So if you want to send a department-wide message out to the system and push that to your dashboard, or if you want to send a document that you only want captains to see or only want Station 1 personnel to see. You'll have kind of ultimate control, and those groups can also bubble up to widgets on your dashboard. So when you publish content, you have a workflow that I'll show you in a second that you control. You have ultimate control of where the content flows to. You'll have a new managed content page. This is an example of that. So instead of having multiple different links in the left nav like we have today, you'll be able to easily, news and announcements, events, um, Platform Connect, which is like a little web directory to give your folks easy access to all of your other platforms without having to remind them what the URL was. Your document library, your videos. Videos will now not only scheduled videos will now flow into the user accounts homepage as well, not just to your dashboards if you want. Um, Messages, and then any one-off acknowledgments. And when it comes to creating that content, it's going to be much easier than it is right now. You'll click add an announcement, add the title, categorize it, add the body of the title, add a featured image, add additional images, or attach files to that announcement. Choose when it publishes. Does that get pushed to all agency members or just specific groups of members? Do you want to require an acknowledgement with it and therefore send an email? And then do you want to push that also to your dashboard and you just come in here and pick the dashboards? So again, all this is coming in the fall. We're working on it, and the main purpose of this call is to kind of introduce you to that concept. And then if you have any feedback or questions, you can just contact me directly at dave@firstarriving.com for anything you see here, or just leave your information, or just ping the Q&A component of this, and we'll get back to you. So this is coming, and then messaging. There'll be one-way messaging, potentially eventually two-way messaging for internal communications. But you'll be able to send a message via email to your dashboard, via text, via in-app message. Whatever you can think of, you can send to our messaging platform here. Preview the message. You can preview what it's going to look like on the screen. For example, if you want to push a message to your dashboards, you can push that message to users. Again, all agency members or specific groups or specific people, even. What that message is, in text, how it looks on the dashboard, etc. So we're trying to be a solution point for you as your main internal communications engine. So any information you have to get out to users, members, personnel, leadership, you'll be able to do that through our platform, basically via any communication channel you have from the TV screen to their phone, and then some. And then for those of you who have user accounts, when an individual member logs in, they'll have a completely new experience like you see here. They will still have the option to launch the full view of their dashboard as if they would see it on their TV. If you give them permission to do so, they'll see their notifications. They'll have basically a little inbox in here. What's pending acknowledgement wise, what's overdue, what's pending, your news and announcements, your events, your document library, your videos that you want to distribute to the department. Um, Platform Connect, again, links to your other stuff, ESO, First Do, LabTech, etc. Where do I go to log in to do this? Here's where you do that. And then we'll probably start adding some other features like industry news, and this will expand over time pretty significantly. So again, all this is desktop, mobile, tablet friendly. Um, so that's what's coming in the fall. We're excited about it. We will be rolling it out to a few hundred customers at a time over a week or two period as we test things. You'll be communicated to. This platform is whether you're on is regardless of whatever dashboard version you're on, 2 or 3. This is for all of you. Um, so you'll be notified before you switch over. You'll be invited to give feedback. Nothing will change on your dashboards. That is unaffected by this. This is more about maintaining your dashboards and user accounts and giving you easier access to create and manage content. And then the long tail of that is how do we bubble down, or however you want to phrase it, um, content from your integrations and all these data points into an even more user-friendly way for a chief or a shift commander or down to individual people, all your integration content into a dashboard that's more like a website, right? So that's what this is, and this is more like a 2027 type of project. But just to give you an idea of what's coming is a daily operations summary for chiefs that pulls in all of your information from all your different platforms in a very easy to digest way with a little option to have an AI assistant analyze that data and give you a report on it, send you weekly notifications of whatever stats you want automatically without you having to think about it. So whether that's staffing hours, turnout times, top incident types, overtime used, whatever data that is coming in from your scheduling software, your RMS, your alerting provider, we can take that, bubble it all up into one report and give you, your daily leadership briefing, reports needing attention, your acknowledgement status from our platform, core stats of uptime and how much content and notifications are being sent via the platform, and again, some daily news. You as leadership can add like a daily, message or create messages that you can share with staff either through messages or through the dashboards. And then at the individual station commander level, you'll have a dashboard that basically is a daily briefing for the station commander and potentially your own team, depending on how you want to approach it. That gives them, the roster, the weather, the message from the chief, upcoming events they need to be paying attention to, new documents, announcements, etc., operational notes if you have that pulling in from an asset management platform or otherwise. So it basically gives them a quick glance if they're not in front of the big TV screen, or lets you drill down much deeper. Traditionally, we basically ingest that data from your integrations, keep it for a short amount of time as possible, and then when the next push content comes from your integration, we use that data. We don't store data. So now, as we get more requests for people uh, to see 30 or 60 or even full year trends of their data on their dashboards, that will help us evolve this so you can run those same kind of reports as an individual in the platform. So that is the platform revamp in a nutshell. So a bunch of things coming in the fall that will completely change up and make your life easier. And then a bunch of things that will come in 2027 in addition to that. There also will be full documentation in the platform for every single feature. So there'll be a how-to directly in the platform without you having to go anywhere else or log into our support pages or those kind of things. So agency admins will have explicit documentation, content managers will have their own documentation, and individual personnel and members and staff will have their own uh, component of documentation. Stephanie, do we have any questions or anything else before I continue to ramble on?
We do have a question, and you may hit on this in a minute. We use First Due for our RMS and scheduling. How well does this integrate with these changes?
First do. First do, we're going to talk about first do in a little while on the new integrations component because we are adding some additional stuff from first do. When it comes to how that content is going to bubble up into these 2027 looking forward shift briefing and leadership, it'll work pretty much just like your dashboards, except we'll have more data and we'll retain that data for a longer period of time so you can do comparisons and see trends and things like that across your ecosystem, not just logging into one of those platforms and seeing just those stats. This will kind of you'll be able to slice and dice your stats into many things. So hopefully that answers your question. But the goal would be similar to our kind of mindset with the dashboards. If you've got data, if you've got information, stats, whatever format you've got it in, if you can get it to us, we can make it look pretty on the big screen. And now as we expand on the smaller screen.
That's it so far.
All right. Next up is in beta, we have an AI platform that is um, eventually will be intertwined with the admin panel, the revamped platform. We're just testing it now in kind of a separate app. Just in beta, we have about a half dozen or so um, departments that are testing it now. So what you see here is going to be opened up to more beta customers. Basically, just a free trial for a couple months to test it out and give us feedback. Um, but if you want to be added as a beta tester after you see what I'm going to show you in a second, you would just email me directly at dave@firstderiving.com that you're interested in the AI beta and just shoot me a note and we'll get you on the list. The next round of beta users will be in August. So we'll add another dozen or two beta testing agencies in August. So if you want in on that, let me know. But we're trying to again going, being your internal communications tool, the AI platform will allow you to create SOPs, press releases, media releases, internal announcements. It will let you use AI to help you generate those. And the AI is not generic AI, it's AI trained on fire and law enforcement, and it's AI trained on your voice and your documents. So there's multiple layers of how we train the AI. And you also can use the platform without even using the AI. So I'll explain that in a second. But um, the AI basically is trained by us with hundreds of documents about example SOPs from all size agencies, federal, state regulations, and documents that we've uploaded. And then on a per department, completely strictly your department, no one else can see it. We can't even see it. You can upload your SOPs or other documents to basically create your voice for the AI. And then it will use that information to help draft your SOPs or media communications, or even eventually the ability for you to use your own data to connect in and create sub widgets that we can embed on your big screen TVs. Um, so an example of that is SOPs and policies is probably the best example for this call, where you can import your existing SOPs and use this as your master management platform for your SOPs. Um, Without even factoring in the AI, you can create and manage your SOPs here. You can, I'll pull up a draft one as an example. Um, you can have SOP, you can share it with other staff members. So there's a chain of approval and review that is all managed in the system. So once you draft this, you can say, push it for review, and it will go to whoever you assign to review that document. They'll be able to make edits in line just like you would with a Google Doc or Excel or Word, whatever you want. They can suggest edits. You can save it as a draft, and then you can also, with AI, check your new SOP or communication against all of your other SOPs to check for conflicts, to make sure automatically that your new SOP isn't conflicting with some past existing other SOP. And then once this is managing your documents, creating your documents, kind of your master workflow for that internal documentation. And then when this is merged with the revamped platform in the near future, you'll be able to publish that out to all or a select group of members or a group. You can require them to acknowledge it and read it, post any follow-up questions for it, things like that. So again, it'll be more of a full ecosystem where all this will just kind of align, and you'll be able to uh, you know, take care of things pretty quickly. SOPs, dashboard widgets, communications, media releases, things like that. All of which are just, a few clicks to create it, whether or not you want AI to help you. Um, Super, super easy. And then this has documentation. This is similar to what the revamped admin panel will have, which is basically just a full document library of everything you would need to know to use this platform, all in one place. Very easy, searchable. Every feature is documented.
I've got a
Uh,
couple.
so, yep, good.
Oh, got a couple of questions on the SOP just before you move on. Is the SOP policy function included in the basic platform, or will there be an additional cost?
We have no idea on that right now, to be blunt. We're testing it. AI does, especially the AI comes with kind of a cost that is out of our hands, so to speak. We're using Anthropic's API to power um, the AI components of it. So the beta test period is really to help us understand what the costs will be for the Anthropic Claude connection. So if you've got, one or two documents a month, probably not a big deal. Maybe it may be pennies. But if you've got 500 and you're actively in there and distributing it, it could be more. So the testing period is to figure that out, honestly, and then we'll have a much better answer. So I wouldn't want to guess. It's our goal is to make it one holistic platform without a whole bunch of, add-ons and, digging you for each and every little thing. We do have a kind of standard basic enterprise type pricing structure right now. So it may fall into that, but we'll keep it relatively simple.
Next one, will the AI check draft SOPs against state code to see if there's any conflict?
Yeah, the answer to that question is yes. We have a whole bunch of documents in the platform. You would just simply upload those state specific documents in your Train My AI type component. So you'll upload those docs, and then when you create your SOPs, you'll denote in the AI prompt, basically said, I want to create this SOP. Please make sure it complies with ABC regulation that's in our system, and it will take it from there. So we'll have a lot of instructions on and recommendations on how to prompt the AI. But that's the benefit of this compared to just typing it into Claude yourself or ChatGPT. It's trained on all your stuff, and you can reference your stuff directly in the AI prompt. So all that's kind of taken into consideration when we built it, and the goal with the beta again is just to get more ideas because AI is great. It's expanding very quickly. It's cheap right now, but I'm sure as time goes on, those Claude and ChatGPT costs uh, are going to increase. So we just need to understand how people are going to use it and where AI makes sense to fit in and where AI doesn't. Things we can build that don't require AI, but still give you the benefit of managing conflicting documents and stuff like that.
I've got one more. Does this allow for previous versions of SOPs to be held in the same platform for review
100%.
if needed
Yep.
later?
Yep. 100%. Your entire history of that document, including the ability to revert back to previous revert back, review previous ones, who approved it, when they approved it, who has access to it, basically full management of all of your SOPs or other communications. So, um, it's meant to be kind of the full cycle of an SOP, so you can always refer back to previous versions and check your new one against that one, etc.
Do these new upgrades require customers to transition to 3.0?
Yeah, we're still evaluating that. The only thing that 3.0 is awesome. It has a completely new look and feel. And as we evolve and add more integrations and change integrations, we're going to get even more visual with more graphs and charts and, not just table-based content, but, a lot of you already have turnout time dials and things like that. So that's going to expand. So it's got a much cleaner look. And certainly as we add new integrations, uh, it's just a cleaner view and it's much easier for us to implement new integrations on 3.0 versus 2.0. Um, and but for user accounts, anybody with 2.0 or 3.0 or this, that doesn't really matter what version of the dashboard you have. That's irrelevant. Um, so you'll be able to add that. The only thing that you do need 3.0 for is the mobile app. So all of our content that bubbles down from the dashboards very cleanly into the mobile app and the web view, basically the progressive web app, or if you want to have the full mobile app with notifications like a traditional app has for acknowledgments and the messaging features and things like that, you need 3.0 to get mobile. So that's more just an infrastructure stuff. 2.0 works great for a lot of people. We hope everyone converts to 3.0 over time, and Bill will talk a little bit more about that process in a second. Um, 3.0 is just drastically improved infrastructure. We acquired this about 10 years ago. We built 2.0 after we acquired it. It's aging, it's stable, and it works great. But as kind of the ecosystem expands and we get more and more visual in terms of how we display information, 3.0 is the way to go.
I've got one more kind of back to the AI beta. We use and pay for Google Suite. Will we be able to use Gemini as our AI?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, no, we have to lock into one. Just as a platform wide kind of thing. So right now that is Claude for and Anthropic for our API. There's no way to uh, select a different AI engine. Uh, we've certainly thought about that, and that may be something as the AI ecosystem evolves, we'll be able to give you a toggle to change between ChatGPT and Anthropic and Gemini, and then we would just have our own, connection to those in the back end on our own, just like we do with Claude right now. So the answer for now is no, but in the future, AI is moving very quickly, and we're trying to keep up and give you tools based on AI as quickly as we can.
That's it for our questions so far.
All right, good questions. I like that. Um, Groups is new. It exists now. You see the groups tab, right? Uh, Make sure.
Looking at the
Uh,
presentation.
Okay, good. Groups is new. I just briefly talked about it on the platform revamp component, but it is available now to anyone who has user accounts already. It allows you to target content by groups. So when you're creating news in this example, you can identify what group or individual, and then also push that to a dashboard widget. So, think of groups as all my lieutenants, captains, all my station one personnel, anything you can think of, right? That's a group that you would want to target content and messaging directly to without everyone else also seeing it. Whether you don't want them to see it because they shouldn't see it from a permission standpoint, or you don't want them to see it because it's just noise. So you have, what we had before was news and announcements and events that were just department wide, which is great, but you really want to be able to target that so that Station One's personnel or the battalion chiefs only see the information that's relevant to them in addition to the department wide content. So that's available now. It's in your navigation when you log into the admin panel with groups in the left-hand navigation. There is a new support document in our support center under agency admins. Bill will give you the link to that in his part of the presentation. But we've created a whole extensive set of documentation that Bill's going to talk about, including video overviews of how to use each feature, both as the agency admin and the end user. But Groups is live. I'd consider it in beta. It's still being tested, but we definitely have some customers who have already picked up and started using it. And then that's going to, that feature will grow relatively exponentially when we launch the revamp platform in the fall. It takes a much more front-facing, important view in terms of how we serve content going forward. New and expanded integration. So we've got a bunch of things going on with integrations that that are pretty exciting, we think, and impact a lot of customers. The first is Nearest ESO for ESO customers. A lot of people were on the NIFRS API. ESO changed that. We've rebuilt all of our infrastructure to support that, including the ability to maintain that data for longer periods of time for trends and things like that. So that is live. A lot of customers who are using ESO's Fire API have already switched. If you have not switched, you should, because I think for the most part, ESO is deprecated NIFRs altogether. Um, so if you need to get that on your boards and you're an ESO customer, just email support@firstderiving.com or open up a support ticket in our support platform. So we are looking at later this year or next year a direct integration with Nearest where we'll be able to pull, hopefully, your data directly from Nearest, regardless of what RMS you're using. So any data that shows up on your Nearest dashboard, hopefully we will also be able to display uh, on our TV screens and in your user accounts. So that is also on the radar. Um, First, do ad hoc reports. You need to subscribe to their SFTP service, I believe. So you would work those details out with First Do. But First Do ad hoc reports is a new integration we've launched. It basically lets you create just about any custom report in First Do's platform from just about any data point. and send that to us via FTP, basically as a file automatically, and then we can put that content in a table or a graph or chart or whatever format you want that makes sense based on the data onto your dashboard. So first do ad hoc reports went live in June. Emergency networking is a completely brand new integration. It is live. We've launched with about a half dozen, 7 or 8 beta customers. Emergency networking is the RMS that Delaware and Pennsylvania are using as their statewide system reporting back to NERIS, as well as it's in many other states as well. We have a suite of widgets and content from mostly their incident reporting right now. But we are looking at adding additional widgets as their API expands themselves. So that's a new kind of full suite integration that's live right now. If you're waiting for it, you should see it within a couple days. But otherwise, if you've got emergency networking, there's a lot of cool things we can do with emergency networking data. Tablet Command, who we also have an integration with for quite a long time. We've launched a new recent calls page that will show you on a map all your recent calls, give you the last 5 or 10 calls, depending on what you want to do. Recent calls in a pretty slick visual way with what units and status and things like that. So that's a new integration. In May, we launched Microsoft PowerPoint. So if you're a Microsoft shop and you don't want to use Google or can't use Google Sheets and Slides, PowerPoint is now available. It's basically connected to your OneDrive and SharePoint and updates automatically, just like a Google slide does. We're looking into Excel. That's something that we're exploring. It's not quite as straightforward, but we hope to have that answer soon. And then we've got a couple other integrations coming up. One of the newer ones is a platform called StationWise, which has quite a bit of functionality. So we'll have more information on that in the next few months. We also have Firehouse 247, which is a scheduling platform that recently launched. I think we talked about that on our last webinar. So we're being as aggressive as we can with adding new integrations. And if you have new integration requests, you can again open a support ticket, and we have a evaluation process where we talk to the potential integration partner about how they can get us data and what the timing is. And generally speaking, we're rolling out a new at least one new integration per month. So we just prioritize that based on what's going on. So that is all of my presentation. Stephanie, do you have any other questions?
You do.
All
Um,
right.
what about the ability to integrate a Microsoft Teams stream into the dashboards?
Unfortunately, Teams is not quite easy to do. We're constantly evaluating on a quarterly basis any changes to that status, both for Teams and uh, Zoom. We used to have Zoom, but then Zoom changed its back end, and we weren't able to do that as cleanly. So we are exploring that. I think in the user accounts and the desktop version, we'll be able to give you some tools to send people reminders and buttons to log into their Zoom meeting right from there as part of the events and messaging platform over time. So we're evaluating it, is what I can say, and we're definitely think that's an important feature to add. And if we could have to date, we definitely would have.
Any new law enforcement integrations planned? I'm gonna butcher this. Peregrine,
Yeah,
FWAT,
any idea?
etc.
Yep. Any ideas you have, just open a support ticket and we can evaluate it. Law enforcement is certainly a growing area for us. We have over 100 law enforcement customers. A lot of them, amazingly, were referred by the fire department. The police chief walked into the firehouse and said, what is that on that big screen? So a lot of our law enforcement customers kind of came from referral from their fire department. But we are starting to focus on it a lot more aggressively, and that will include uh, a bunch of different things. We just had, I think, I don't want to butcher the name myself, but Power DTS, I think, or Police DTS, is a new platform we integrated with earlier this year. So we're always exploring new integrations, and certainly, if you've got a great integration for law enforcement, we would love to hear about it, and we will evaluate and prioritize that as best we can.
Let me just check. I think everything else is sort of individual. Is there anything in the works to integrate with ESO for training documentation to allow training records to be analyzed in ESO's data analytics engine?
Yeah, so we did actually have a conversation with ESO this week, their main integration guy. They're moving to push everything into their new API. So in addition to the incident reporting, there's going to be some pre-planning information that we'll have available soon. They've also added activities to that is launching soon, so we'll be able to pull in activities from ESO. So they're evolving. So they got rid of ad hoc last year or whenever they got rid of it, which was how a lot of departments automated getting us custom reports. Unfortunately, the insights and the data export tool they have don't have a way to automatically send us a file or email us a file. They can email you the file, but then you would have to forward it. It's kind of a convoluted process. So the general thing with ESO in general is they are going to continue to work with us to keep expanding their information that's available through the API, whether that's the training or basically anything you could potentially want to pull out of there. So if you have specific requests, get them to us through the support channel. We will get back to ESO and say, here's kind of a running list of what folks are hoping to get out of the API going forward, and we'll push that along as quickly as we can. If we can, we do have a pretty solid relationship with ESO, just like many of our partners, but ESO certainly is one of our biggest partners in terms of number of customers using it. So stay tuned.
Dave, do you know if the tablet command recent calls are available now?
Uh, yeah, that's what just rolled out.
Okay.
Yep, yep. I should have put a slide in here to show you what it looks like, but it's really slick. It's got the map, it's got the incidents very cleanly, 5 or 10 at a time with the units and the status, and it's pretty sweet looking.
I think that's it.
All right. All right. Sorry, we're running a skosh long, but I already have, I don't know, at least a dozen emails of people asking to be beta testers on the AI tool. So I appreciate your enthusiasm for that. Bill, take it away.
All right, thanks, Dave. Yeah, I'm glad it's your inbox blowing up, not mine.
Yeah, yeah, it's all good.
So far.
Although I'm about to shoot myself in the foot. Um, so yeah, everybody, as we look at what our current customers are doing, like to pass on some of that information to you all to help you better manage your platform and your user accounts and get the most value out of what we provide through our partnership. And so just some of the quick little tips for how to keep things fresh and valuable to your folks. Want to throw some of those at you for consideration. Number one is, as Dave said, we're trying to include other ways to add in where you can add graphics and pictures and manage your stuff better. So when you start thinking about that, the human eye is drawn to color and motion. And as our brain processes our environment, it's always seeking change. It's always looking for what's different. And you can use that to your benefit as a manager running your program by adding pictures and graphics now and then. It doesn't have to be daily, but on a regular cadence, throw in some graphics, some pictures, some color, that kind of thing to catch the human eye so that that big screen up on the wall doesn't become just another piece of furniture in the room. They're actually drawn to it because there is something different, and then their brain is saying, "Hey, there's something different about that. I need to evaluate that." And then they're in there and they're consuming the data that you want them to consume. So whether it's in your Google Slides or you're using news and announcements or something like that in the platform, you have that creative control, and you can add a little bit of color, a little bit of flair, maybe some pictures. Maybe they're pictures of your own, or you just find stuff on the internet you can use that is free and available. Think about how you can roll that into your displays to get your people to engage with your content more regularly. Um, the other piece is make sure that your information is current. Stale information lowers the reliability of your dashboards. So we want to make sure that the data is current. And if we're not putting up data, if there's nothing to put up, many of you might use something like hydrants out of service or road closures. And instead of having a message up there that says no information available, you might want to just make a simple default entry of all hydrants operational, or nothing's out of service, or no road closures today. Because when you see that, no information available, kind of indicates to the person that maybe something's broken and it's not working right versus there's just nothing to show you here in this category. So think about how you present that when there is no information to show so that people know it is working appropriately and there's just nothing to see here today, right? You might come back later in the day and go, hey, I just noticed that there's now a new road closure for tomorrow, right? When I came by here before, it said no closures today. So just think about how you can keep that fresh and keep that message informative, even when there's really no actionable information that you need to put out. Another piece as an admin user is if you're using the individual user accounts that Dave was talking about, is make sure you come up with a review protocol. Make it a habit to review your list of users at least quarterly, at a very minimum biannually. If you have seasonal employees and you have individual user accounts, that's a great time to know that, hey, when you're bringing on your seasonal crew, to go through and do a wholesale review of all your users. And then when your seasonal people come off the roster and they're going off season, that's another great time to check your entire roster to make sure that those new hires or those promotions or maybe those retirements were taken into account and you're adjusting your user accounts. Another thing is to leverage events, the news and announcements and messaging. So even if you're not using user accounts, you don't have all your people logging into the platform and they don't have login access, there are items like the news and announcements and the messagings and the events that as Dave's talked about, you can push those to your big screen. So you as the admin user can manage the content in the platform because you have that access to those modules. But maybe your individuals, your individual firefighters or officers or deputies don't have all that access. You can still push that information and manage it within the platform using those modules. So, and I'll show you here in a little bit where you can find some information on that. So try to leverage as much as you can of what we provide you because you're paying for it, right? It's part of the platform. But there's some great ways to manage that content and make your life easier and put out some really good information to your folks. And again, when you start doing that, it changes the dashboard, right? It changes the view that they see as they're walking through the day room or they walk through the equipment bay. So just think about how you can leverage that to make your life easier, but also get your people to engage more and see the information that you're putting up because it's information that obviously your organization feels is important. The videos feature is another great benefit of the platform that allows you to push video from your dashboard. So as Dave was talking about answering one of those questions, we don't have the ability to like live stream video right now, like a meeting like this, like a webinar. But there are ways for you to pre-record a video and push that out and deliver it, that important information to your crew based on when you feel it's most appropriate. So again, when you go into the videos module, you can not only upload the video, but you can choose and schedule when it shows. So you can have it show once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day, every other Thursday, however you want to schedule it, you have that control. And again, you can do the setup and then hit go and you go about your daily duties, knowing that the system is going to manage that for you and show the video and then expire the video for you and stop showing it when you want it to stop. Any questions on anything there?
No questions so far.
Awesome. All right. So the next piece is to try to make your life easier and knowing that you have a lot of other responsibilities. We've created a platform for admin training. So it's the Platform Admin Training Series. And we created this library of training videos for not only new admins. So if you're brand new to administrating your platform and your dashboards, that's a great place to go. But also those who might need a refresher. So maybe you've been an admin for a while, but you haven't been super active in the platform, or we're talking about these modules that you can use that you're not familiar with. These are videos that were carved out and they're not only paced in an order so that a brand new user can jump in and learn how to manage the platform. But if you maybe a couple months down the road, you're like, I remember there was something about using video, or I'm not really up to speed on how messaging works, and I'd like to know how to do that. When you go into that library, it's all broken out, so you don't have to go through a long form video and find that time in the video. We took that and we broke that out into a library. So if you want to look at messaging, there's a 4 or 5 minute video that talks about messaging and how to use it. Same thing with news and announcements. So all the different modules that we have listed here. So it's everything from getting started to how to manage the mobile app. You can go in there and you can find those as an admin user to know how to manage that and how to start leveraging that for your department. So simply go to support.firstarriving.com/support/solutions. And when you're in there, you can just simply search in the help platform administrator, and it'll come up and you'll see the link to that platform administrator's training series. And again, it's a training series, but it's all carved out so that you can access it ad hoc. If you want to go out of order or you need a clarification or refresher on a piece of content that you're not familiar with or haven't worked with in a while, it's there for you to easily access. We also created another video. So if you are adding individual user accounts, let's say you decided, hey, we're going to go all out, and we're going to get everybody on the platform. We do have a training video in there, and I purposely kept it under 15 minutes so that you can show that as like a roll call training. So if you're going to launch those user accounts and you want to train your people on how to use it, let us do that for you. We have that video available for you in a briefing setting or something like that, or you can assign it to your people to watch. That video will walk them through how to use, not only get access to and log in, get their initial setup done, but how to then navigate and how to consume the content within the user account. So that video is in the help series as well.
Hey, Bill, real quick before you jump into this, I've got a question. I've got somebody who's using Google Slides pretty heavily. Bill, Dave, either one of you may or may not know the answer to this. They use animation within Google Slides, but it presents as stills. Is
Yeah.
that how the system's sort of set up and designed, or is that something they can fix?
Yeah, the way the Google API works, the Google Slides data is it basically creates a static image of each slide. So any animation,
Yeah.
embedded videos, things like that, that unfortunately does not pass through. That's more of a how Google sends us the data without uh, having to embed the public share URL and make it public, and in order to share it as like a URL and embed it where it kind of looks like a Google slide thing with all the you know tools and things like that. It just kind of looks awkward on a dashboard display. So that's a limitation of Google Slides as well. Um, I don't know when this will happen or if it will happen, but certainly we are looking at ways um, with this new revamp platform, again, more like a 2027 or beyond type of thing, to have our own slide generation kind of engine within our own platform, maybe tied to Canva or using some AI stuff to help you create presentations that would be even more visual with a lot of different templates and include animation or even embedded videos and things like that. So that is definitely on our radar. It's not something remotely that's in the immediate future, but um, the more we can build into our platform and make it easier for you to create that kind of cool stuff, the better.
Thank you.
Yeah, great question. So in the spirit of trying to make your life easier, we are looking to help you manage your platform and take some tasks off of you. So First Arriving wants to help you manage your platform better. As we improve the admin panel and make all the technological changes that Dave covered, we know that you're also very busy. You have a lot of responsibilities. You have a lot of duties that are assigned by your job description. And then there's, as a former administrator, I know there's those duties, other duties as assigned, right? And sometimes managing the platform is part of that bucket of responsibility. And so we're looking for ways that we can double down and actually become somewhat of a force multiplier for you all and help you manage your platform better and keep better oversight of what's going on your platform, how things are performing, how your people are doing based on certain metrics that you have in there that Dave showed. There's a lot of analytics in there. So what we're looking to do is we're starting a beta program, And what we want to do is identify some agencies that want to work with us to improve how we can provide services to you. So with staffing shortages, budget cuts, and other challenges like that, sometimes the dashboards get pushed aside and they're not as well maintained. So what we're looking to do is say, hey, how can we augment you and become that force multiplier and provide you a little bit of service behind the scenes that keeps things flowing, keeps things current, and gets the most value out of your subscription with first arriving, and take some of that off of your plate. So we're interested in exploring what managed services would look like and how we can become that force multiplier for you and support you and your team. So as you can see, some of the things we've thought about providing is on that monthly cadence, provide you a set a report of the data you want to see. As Dave said, the new platform is going to have all those analytics where you'll be able to scroll through. But again, being a former administrator in public safety, I know I don't have time all the time to go scrolling through that and find that for myself. It's really nice for somebody to put all that together so I can get that quick look. I can understand what I need to understand, grab that data in a quick, 20-second assessment and move on with my other responsibilities. So we're looking to do like a monthly platform health review where you get a PDF report of those key metrics that you want that are important to you. Provide some device information. What's the uptime, how long your device is up, which devices were down the most during the month, that kind of thing. High level user information. So if you're using individual user accounts, we don't track a lot of the data. We don't, we understand the whole Big Brother, black helicopter conspiracy theory thing in public safety. And we purposely don't track individual maneuvers and activity in the account. But the information we can provide you is important to agencies to know who's logging in, what kind of activity is going on the platform in an overall kind of anonymous approach, but also track things like acknowledgements. How many acknowledgement items were pushed out this month, and how many people have actually acknowledged and who are not. So you have that oversight of who's behaving according to the plan and who's not. And then some connect activity, right? Or content activity rather. So again, what's being engaged with, what's the response to the information being put out, and maybe even getting into what modules, what integrations are having issues with and having glitches throughout the month that maybe you need to talk to your third party vendor about, or for us to be able to bubble that up to our support team for you and say, hey, there's some content issues here, let's address that without even having to bring it to you. We just recognize it first. So the monthly platform review would be the kind of a high level report that would be kind of customized to what your needs are. The other piece is to help you actually manage the content. So there's seasonal planned posts that we can do for you. Again, there's holidays, there's awareness months, there's all sorts of things like that a lot of agencies would really like to do something on our dashboards, but I just don't have the time to do that. How do we become that force multiplier? How can we do some of that stuff for you behind the scenes where you have absolute input, and we can provide a little bit of, you can provide us that guidance, but then we take that task and get it done for you. And you can go about your regular daily duties and those other responsibilities you have. Things like announcements or customized content for your department, right? Promotions, that kind of thing, new hires. Again, what's the plan? And really it's helping you create a communications plan, right? And how you manage your content according to that communication plan, along with the user management, right? Activation, deactivation of your customers or your users. Again, especially if you're using seasonal type folks, right? When do they come on? When do they come off, right? And how to best manage those. And then if you are using videos and other things like that and documents, when do you archive those, right? So we can maintain your account so it stays clean and smooth to operate, and you don't get a bunch of clutter to where you have to do that once a year spring cleaning. Like we maintain that in the background for you so that even if you are jumping into the platform to do some work, we keep it clean, kind of like the house cleaner that comes to your house once a month and does a deep cleaning and dusts things for you to keep things fresh. That's kind of what we're looking to do. So if you're interested in becoming part of this beta program, reach out to me directly. We'll drop my email just so that Dave doesn't feel overwhelmed, I'll put my email out there as well. If you're interested in talking about or maybe even becoming part of the beta program and discuss how we can augment you and your team to make your life easier and keep your dashboards fresh, and again, get the most value of what you're already paying for. Love to chat with you about what your thoughts are and what the realities are as an administrator of these type of platforms from your perspective. So love to hear from you.
Can we jump back real quick, Dave? Do you want to talk about the poll bill?
Yeah, so if we can, we're going to try something a little bit new here. Stephanie's this with the Zoom poll. Just really quickly with the people that are logged in here, we would love to get some quick feedback from you guys right now on the managed service piece. So whether you're interested in being part of the beta or not, we'd love for you to just take a couple of seconds and complete this poll real quick to give us some instant feedback. And then again, if you're interested in a deeper conversation, you want to drill down on this and be part of the discussion, I'd love to chat with you.
While we've got that poll going, I want to just chat with everybody about our new referral program. So before we wrap up, we want to tell you a little bit about our Give Back program. If you know another fire, EMS, law enforcement, or local gov agency that could benefit from first arriving, we'd appreciate an introduction. For example, if you're a fire department that's already using our first arriving platform and your local law enforcement agency could benefit from the platform, we'd be happy to show them how they can leverage it sort of independently with their information, but then also how you can cross-share relevant information across departments. Through our Giving Back department program, when a department you refer becomes a customer, we make a charitable donation in your department's name to support the public safety community. You can scan this QR code that's on the screen, or I will also drop into the chat the link on our page to where you can learn more about the program, or also share any departments that may benefit from our first arriving dashboards. I think with that, let me just double check that we don't have any outstanding questions. It doesn't look like it. So with that, I don't know, Bill, Dave, do you guys have any closing remarks?
On a regular basis, quarterly. We're going to get more aggressive with how, not overwhelming you with email, but monthly, bi-monthly, giving you a quick snapshot of new integrations and what's coming and things like that. Again, you'll get notifications when your account is due to switch over to the new admin panel version. If you liked something like what you saw with the admin panel, I'd love your feedback. Or if you have ideas for, hey, this would be really cool and make it much easier to manage my dashboard or get information to XYZ out to my people, you can email me again at davidfirstdriving.com, as well as for the beta AI platform.
Yeah, and I'll just add that, you hear us use the term partnership as we discuss these things, and this really is a partnership with you and the rest of our customers. We get better as a provider and as a partner and as a company when we get feedback from you all. You guys are out there living this day to day and applying this and know what's coming in the industry, what would serve you and other organizations like yours the best. So any of those ideas that you have for improving or adding on to what we already provide, throw that our way. Like, as Dave said, sometimes we can take that and turn it around pretty quickly. Other stuff we have to really think it through and build out the technology and put it on a roadmap. But that's the way that we provide you the better services for us to have this continued conversation of what's working well and what could work better. So we're totally open to that anytime. It doesn't have to be a webinar. Anytime you have an idea, you can reach out to our support team, or you can reach out to your assigned customer success manager, and run those ideas by us and just kind of keep us in that loop. We love a good challenge. Dave has an amazing engineering team, and we're always looking for how we can improve our service to you guys. So that's part of the partnership that we really appreciate with you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Just one last note. This was recorded. We will be sending it out to everybody that registered. So if you had to jump out, jump back in, or if you want to share it with anybody on your team, you will receive a copy of it. And with that, we're going to say thank you again so much for joining us and stay safe.